What up, Salty crew? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make 3 different vegan party snacks, appetizers, to really wow your guests and show them that vegan food is fucking bomb. And these would be perfect for your New Year's Eve celebration. So without any further ado, let's get cooking. The first recipe we're making today are deviled potatoes. For this, you're gonna need some baby Yukon gold potatoes. I got these at Trader Joe's. And once you have them washed and ready to go, you can cut them in half. I like cutting them this way as opposed to lengthwise because they look more like eggs as opposed to potato skins. So once they're all cut, you can transfer them to a parchment paper lined baking sheet. Drizzle them with some oil. I'm using olive oil here. Sprinkle with some salt. Toss around so that the potatoes are coated really well. And place them in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes until they're tender. While our potatoes are in the oven, we can go ahead and make our sour cream. For this, you're gonna need 1 cup of soaked cashews, half a cup of water, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. Then you can blend everything together in a high-speed blender until silky smooth. This recipe specifically is from Hot for Food and I've been using it forever and I love it, so I just went ahead and put it in this video. The next component of our deviled potatoes is the coconut bacon. For this, you're gonna need about a 1/4 cup of Bragg's or soy sauce, 1/4 to a 1/2 cup of water depending on how salty you want it, a dash of liquid smoke, a couple teaspoons of maple syrup, and a sprinkle of smoked paprika. Whisk that all together and then add in your unsweetened coconut flakes and make sure that they're fully submerged in the liquid and let them marinate in there for about 30 minutes. Then you are going to spread them on a parchment paper lined baking sheet. Make sure they're not all clumped together and that you spread them out pretty evenly. And then place them in the oven at 350 degrees for 13 to 15 minutes, making sure that you don't burn them because they are really easy to burn with the maple syrup. By this time your potatoes should be done. You know that they're finished cooking when you can see them nicely golden brown on the bottoms. So once you realize that they're fully cooked, you can start scooping out the insides to form the outer part of the deviled potatoes. So you're gonna wanna do this as carefully as you can to not break them. And I like roasting my potatoes because they're easier to work with and they're easier to scoop out the potato part in the middle. I have boiled them and steamed them before, but I find this is the best way to go about doing it. So now we're gonna take the insides of our potatoes and mash them together. I'm using a fork because I don't have a potato masher. And you ideally wanna do this when the potatoes are still warm so that you can make the mixture as smooth as possible. Then you're gonna add in some of the sour cream, some Dijon mustard, a sprinkle of turmeric to make it yellow, and some white pepper. So now I'm just gonna mix everything together with my fork, mash it in there so it's as smooth as possible, and then I'm gonna add in a sprinkle of salt, taste it as I go to make sure that it's not too salty because the sour cream does have some salt in it, and then also the Dijon mustard. Then you can place the mixture in a piping bag or make your own by putting it in a plastic bag, smushing it down to one corner and cutting the tip off, and you have yourself a DIY piping bag. Then you can start piping in the mixture to your potato skins and make them as pretty as possible or not pretty at all. It's up to you. And once they're all filled and ready to go, you can sprinkle them with some smoked paprika. And I also top them with some scallions and the coconut bacon. Do these taste exactly like deviled eggs? No, they're reminiscent and inspired by deviled eggs. I mean, they're potatoes, so they can't taste exactly like eggs. But either way, they will be quite a hit at your next party because they're delicious. The next snack we're gonna make is spinach and artichoke dip. For this, you're gonna start sautéing an onion, and once it starts to caramelize, add in some dry white wine, and you're gonna cook that down until most of the liquid has evaporated, and then you can add your garlic. Continue to saute, and then you're gonna add in 3/4 cup of frozen spinach that's been wrung out so there's no extra liquid, along with 3/4 cup of artichokes that have been wrung out with all the liquid and chopped up. Heat that all together in the pan and we will come back to it with the base of our artichoke dip. So for the base, we're gonna be using tofu. You can use silken or firm, it doesn't really matter. If you use firm, you will probably have to add in some more liquid like almond milk or water to it after it's done blending. 3/4 cup of soaked cashews, 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, a few tablespoons of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Blend that until smooth, and I actually ended up adding in some almond milk to adjust the consistency. Then you can pour it into your spinach and artichoke mixture, mix together and heat all the way through. Add in some extra smoked paprika for that smoky flavor. And I like to garnish mine with a little bit more of the paprika and some extra coconut bacon. And you can serve this with bread or tortilla chips. The next snack we're making is a chocolate peppermint float that is such a showstopper. I can't wait for you to try it. For this, I'll be melting my favorite brand of dairy-free chocolate chips in a double boiler. And you do this by placing a bowl over a boiling pot of water and just letting the chocolate melt. And I'm stirring it with a rubber spatula until it is nice and melty and gooey. Then I'm going to dip my pretzel, give it a little dab on the side of the bowl to get rid of the excess chocolate. Place it on a parchment paper lined plate, sprinkle with your favorite sprinkles, or you can leave them plain, but I want it to be extra festive. And then place in your fridge for about 10-15 minutes and they should harden right up. For the ice cream, I'm using Nadamu's Cookies and Cream, which is fucking bomb. I can't even tell you, it is so good. So I let this sit out at room temp for a little bit so it could get nice and soft. And then I'm topping it with the chocolate peppermint almond milk stuff from Trader Joe's. That's actually pretty good. It's not as sweet as I would like it, but when you add it to ice cream, it's the perfect amount of sweetness. And then we are going to top our floats with some whipped cream, of course, coconut whipped cream, put your pretzels on top, and then I also topped it with some candied pecans, and it is so bomb. Thank you guys so much for watching this week. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had a great holiday season, and I hope your New Year's is fabulous, and I will see you in 2018, baby.